Right, so today what I'm going to do is make some almond brittle in the dehydrator. I've got the Excalibur 9 tray dehydrator. So what I've got here, this week, yesterday I soaked some almonds, and these were soaked and then dehydrated and are now stored in my fridge. So, because I'm really bad at remembering to soak almonds. So I've got a cup of almonds, I've got half a cup of pistachios, and half a cup of walnuts. I think you could probably do this with any mix of nuts. So what I'm going to do is chop all those up, not finely but into smaller pieces. I'll just get a chopping board and a knife. So I think probably the almonds and the walnuts and the pistachios are probably all right. You could probably blitz this in a food processor. But I think that the trouble with that is you then run the risk of it going a bit too far. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm going to have something, I'd rather have it a bit chunky. So I'm going to just chop these through, not overly fine. Oh, that's a nut on the floor. That'll be the dogs later. I suppose the advantage of pulsing it in a food processor is they don't go flying off the work counter and onto the floor. Those up, and I'm going to tip them into my bowl. Ones I've missed as well, so you can see there's still quite a few chunky ones in there, but I think that gives it quite a nice texture. Then I'm going to add to that, and find my quantities so that you guys know what the quantities are. I've got some mixed fruit here, so I've got 2 tablespoons of dried cranberries, 2 tablespoons of raisins, and then I've also got some other dried mixed fruit. It did call for currants, but I haven't got any. So what I've done is just kind of done a mix of dried fruit. Again, I reckon you could put any sort of amount in here. It's just really a total of 6 tablespoons. So that's going to go in with the nuts. Give that a quick mix around. Then to that I'm going to add cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, a bit too much. Sprinkle that over. Then I'm also going to add 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Again, I reckon if you haven't got maple syrup, you could probably use something like coconut nectar. This is just to kind of give it that sticky. That's 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Give that a bit of a stir around so it all coats all the nuts. And what I've got here is one of my sheets from my dehydrator with a Teflex sheet over the top of it. I'm going to put this onto that sheet. Squash it all down. There's not a massive amount of quantity there, but again, I've not done it before, so we'll see what it's like when it's done. And I suspect it may be one of those things that I might end up making a bit more often. That's one there, and then that's going to go on for 3 hours to overnight at 120, it says on the recipe that I've got. But I tend to leave my dehydrator on 115 all the time. So I'll stick it now on 115, and I'll probably put it on for sort of maybe 8 hours to start with and see how it goes. So here we are, the nut brittle has been in the dehydrator. In fact, it went in overnight. So we're just going to pop it out and have a look now and see what we've got. There's that tray here. Right, as you can see, it's sort of solidified into one big lump and will break up into pieces, sort of bite-sized pieces, I suppose. Yeah, quite pleased with that. Looks nice. And all I'm going to do now is just break it off into pieces off the Teflex sheet, and then pop it in a airtight box for snacks.